Hi, it's Jason here. In this wellbeing session, we're going to be looking at time management. We're heading into kind of peak assessment period. It's getting towards the end of the semester. So the idea is to give you 6 practical strategies today, things that you can do from right now to improve your time management, reduce your stress, and make sure you get all your assessments in. After I've chatted about these 6, I'm going to give you a tool to make planning the rest of this semester a lot easier. And I'm hoping that you guys will spend a bit of time on that at the end of this session. So let's leap straight into it. Our first strategy for time management is tracking how you're using your time. If you don't know how you're spending your days, you're definitely wasting time. And if you don't believe me, have a look at that first point. We know that the average person spends 3 hours on their phone per day. And this is only time on your phone. That's not including time on other devices during other parts of the day. So tracking your time is a key way to understand how you're spending your time and then how to actually optimize it and get more out of it. There are some great apps out there to help you track your time, and those include A Tracker, Rescue Time, and Toggle, for example. Go and look those up and trial them. When you first start using an app to track your time, you've got to have to, accept the fact that it will feel a bit weird at first. But ultimately, if you stick with it, it will really help you figure out which non-essential activities you're wasting the most time on. Track everything that you do at school and at home and for how long you do each thing over the course of a week. That's a good kind of guide. At least do it for a week. And then you'll be able to spot any problematic patterns, like maybe overlong drink breaks that you're taking, coffee breaks, excessive time spent scrolling through Instagram or other social media. Number 2 is know your personal style and your kind of Achilles heels. And this is about identifying the areas that are pain points for you. Are you typically a procrastinator? Are you kind of scattered in your approach? Do you write things down but then forget where you put the list? Have a look at this list here. We've got 5 different kind of key areas where people are most likely to struggle with managing their time. So with setting goals and therefore losing track, with prioritizing what's most important, are you maybe somebody who struggles to manage interruptions or distractions? Are you a big procrastinator? Or is it just scheduling and planning the time in the first place that you struggle with? So have a look at those and know where you need to focus your attention. If you've done number 1 and you've tracked your time, you might notice that you've got a really good schedule, you've got a really good priority list and goals, but you're struggling to manage those interruptions. Every time there's a little distraction, 20, 30 minutes get taken up. So know where you need to focus your attention and what you need to change in your approach. Number 3 is making sure that you establish really firm boundaries. So if you've got a schedule, don't start the task at 10:15 a.m. If you said you're going to start it at 10 a.m., you've got to stick to the schedule, because otherwise you're basically setting the precedent that these things don't matter. You're telling yourself that the schedule isn't important. If you're struggling with this, maybe plan 2 options for a given time slot. For example, you could say that you'll either do the maths-based stuff that you need to do, or you'll write the next paragraph of whatever essay it is. Giving yourself that choice might help you stick with the schedule and accomplish more in the time that you've given yourself. Number 4 is actually schedule in time for those non-essential activities. If you're finding it hard to avoid distractions like chatting with friends, checking social media, going and getting drinks, coffees, boost juices, whatever, the best way to prevent those distractions from interfering too much is to actually schedule time for them. There's no reason you can't schedule 10 minutes for checking Facebook or for getting a coffee. This might even help you get more motivated, because if you know that once you've finished a particular task that you've scheduled in a break to relax and recharge, then you'll actually kind of be motivated to do something with the time. That said, you do have to really remember that last point I made about having firm boundaries. If you said that the break ends at 10:30, then the break ends at 10:30. Number 5, say no to multitasking. Try and avoid multitasking as much as possible, because it's actually a weakness. It's not a skill. People these days talk about multitasking being a great skill. Oh, I can't believe you can multitask. But all of the research that I've seen is showing that taking on too many tasks at once actually increases your chance of making mistakes. And when you multitask, it actually takes you longer to complete each of the tasks. So if you really do like switching between tasks, I'd recommend maybe trying to work in at least kind of 20 or 30-minute blocks before switching to another task. The last one here, number 6, is limit your time on each task. Parkinson's law states that work will expand until it fills the time available. So if you give yourself 4 hours to complete something, you'll spend that long doing it, whether it really needs to take 4 hours or not. I know from my personal experience, especially at home with household chores and that kind of stuff, if I've got a bit of time at home alone without the kids and I've got 2 hours to get 3 things done, I'll get them done in 2 hours. But if I have the whole day at home to do those 3 things, I'll take up the whole day because I'll procrastinate and I'll get distracted and I'll stand around looking at my phone, or I'll spend extra long eating and drinking meals and that kind of stuff. So a good example of this is procrastinating until the last moment, and then somehow you kind of throw together an assignment in a few hours. That's Parkinson's law in action. If you were able to do it in those few hours, well, that was all the time that you needed to allow yourself. So what you need to do then is figure out a reasonable cap for every task that you work on. So if you practice this, you'll obviously get better at knowing how long you actually need to finish certain tasks. But let's say it's a creative for English, that might be something that needs 4 hours, 8 hours. I don't know exactly how much, but you need to determine exactly how much. Do it in that time, monitor whether that worked for you, and then learn from that for the next time. All right, hopefully those 6 are kind of helpful. The idea now is that I would like you to make a plan. So this is where teachers, if you can hand out that assessment planner that I've got in the iGroup folders there, and students, you're going to fill this in to make sure that you know exactly what you've got going on for the rest of the semester and that you get it all done. So here's an example. I talked a little bit about scheduling, about having firm boundaries, about knowing your personal style and scheduling time for non-essential tasks and all that kind of stuff. The idea with this plan is that hopefully you can see that there are lots of spaces where there is no color, meaning that there's free time. You still get your Saturday nights off, you still get your Friday nights off, potentially. And it's up to you to cater this to your needs. But what I've done here is, you can see in week 5, I've put in that there's a maths test happening on the Friday. So I've highlighted that blue. And then I've also highlighted before that the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights as study time for that maths test. So they're also highlighted in blue. Notice that the daytimes are free for classes, part-time jobs, that kind of stuff. Then you'll see in week 6 on Wednesday, there's an English creative due, and I've highlighted to spend the day on Saturday, Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night working on that English creative. So once again, you're trying to kind of allow space for things like part-time work and other things that you enjoy in life. Your Saturday nights are free. Sunday day, you can do a shift at work. So the idea is that you're scheduling in enough time to complete these tasks. And it might be for you that it needs to be more specific. Maybe not just Monday night, but Monday night from 8:30 till 10:30 with a little scheduled break for social media and a cup of tea or something. So cater this to what you know you need. But this template can provide you with a really handy tool to make sure you know when everything is due for the rest of the semester, that you're not surprised by due dates, that you're not freaked out that you've got a couple of things due in a short space of time. Because if you make this plan and you highlight time to prepare and complete the tasks, you should have no problem getting everything in and still managing all the rest of the stuff in your life. So I'll hand over to your teachers now, and they're going to kind of facilitate you to fill this in and make a bit of a plan for the rest of the semester. And hopefully this will really decrease your stress levels, help you manage your time, and help you feel better about getting everything done this semester. Thanks for listening.